Hi everyone, Leanne here from Jaded Blossom, and I have a fun little card to share with you today. Hey, so I'm using the stamp set Date Night along with our alphabet dice too. So quickly, I'm going to be doing an ink blended background here, and I'm using Lawn Fawn inks. I'm starting out with Lobster, and I'm just using blending brushes. Now this card that I'm blending on is a paper tray ink 4.25 by 11 scored at 5.5 inches piece of Stamper Select white cardstock. It's kind of my favorite. And I'm just going to be blending on a quick rainbow, and it doesn't have to be perfect. So using Lawn Fawn inks. So this next one is Carrot. Then I'm using Sunflower. And the blending looks kind of crappy on screen, but it does sort of sink down into the cardstock and kind of even out as the card goes on. So now I am using Freshly Cut Grass by Lawn Fawn. And then I'm going to pull in Merman. Lawn Fawn has beautiful ink colors. I always forget about them. I don't know why. I have their ink and I forget to use it, and every time I use it, I'm like, oh, these are great inks. And now this last one is called Sugar Plum. So it's a nice purple. So I'm just doing a traditional rainbow. And, I'm giving myself a nice background. So that's what I went with. There we go. So that is just a piece of kind of low-tack tape kind of covering up the back of that card base. So now I made myself a little stencil using some thick vellum, and I'm using the alphabet dies too, and I'm using 30 because it's my husband and mine. It's our 30th wedding anniversary, and that's what I'm making this card for on October the 11th actually. So I made myself a little stencil with the number 30 on it, and I'm going to go ahead and ink blend with a little bit heavier of a hand in the same color over each area of the rainbow, just to get, so 30 is sprinkled in the background. That's what I'm going for. And it worked out great. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I always use my Gemini machine to cut out my dies, and that's what I did when I was making the stencil for this card front. And like I said, now I'm just ink blending on these numbers, and I sort of wipe off the color in between. If a little bit leaches on it, that doesn't bother me too much, but I do kind of wipe it off with a low fiber towel there. And I'm just adding on that ink with blending brushes. There we go. So not too bad. Obviously, you'll notice that there's no circle in the, or there's no center to the zero. That's just because it cuts out the whole thing. But I don't mind the way that looks. So that was fine with me. I'm just sort of giving a hint of a background. That's what I was going for. There we go. So yeah, I wanted to make kind of a fun special card for our 30th wedding anniversary. We're supposed to be going somewhere in Europe for our 30th wedding anniversary. That was the plan. But with this whole COVID nightmare, that's kind of been rethought. So we'll probably have to wait a little bit to do that, which is sad. But what are you going to do? So at least we'll be able to go out for dinner, right? Things are open in that regard. There we go. So now I'm adding on the Sugar Plum number 30. There we go. And so that's it. So just a super quick background, nothing too crazy. And like I said, it kind of dries back into the cardstock, and it kind of looks, I think it turns out pretty cute at the end. There we go. So ink blending right onto my card base. So now I've got a piece of Nina Solar White cardstock, 80 pound, and I'm going to stamp an image from that date night. It's a little stick couple in a heart-shaped balloon. And I'm stamping with Ink on 3's Blackout ink using my Misty. And I'll stamp it a few times. This is kind of my go-to. I always use Ink on 3's Blackout. I always use Nina Solar White 80 pound. That's super smooth. And I always use my Misty when I'm stamping images. There we go. And I just want to get a really, really nice sharp image. That's the nice thing about a Misty. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do some coloring with Copics. Now, this is the easiest image you'll ever color in your life. And I used Copic markers, and like I said, they'll all be listed, but I start out with E23, and then I blend in E25 from the sides, and then I bring in E27, my darkest color, from the corners again. And like I said, that's it, like super fast and easy coloring. I'm going to pull in E11, just one color for their little faces. I don't go crazy. But all these colors will be listed on my blog. But, you know, you could easily choose simple colors of your own. And this is R20. I'm just going to dot on R20 on the cheeks, just for fun. And then I'm pulling out Y17 for my hair, because I'm, you know, blonde generally. And then my husband, I'm using the E27 and just sort of adding some brown to the one curl on that little stick guy's head. Now I'm pulling out colors for the balloon. I chose R22. And I'll color the whole thing in R22 first. And then I'm going to bring in R24 from the, you know, I'm just going to draw a heart. Again, I'm just trying to, you know, slowly incorporate the R24. And then I will use RV29 on the outside edge. And then I'll just sort of blend back and forth. So like I said, yeah, so this is a little anniversary card for my husband. And I think it turned out pretty cute. You got to love these little stick images from Jaded Blossom. Like if you're not much of a colorer, like you can color this. It's not hard. It's super simple. And that's what I thought. I thought I'm just going to make a really quick and easy image to put on this card. There we go. And I thought that would kind of be cute with the, you know, rainbow sky behind them. You know, just something fun. There's other cute images on this date night stamp set. There's a couple dancing. There's a couple kissing with the guy holding flowers in his hands. There's a couple sitting on a bench. And then the ones, you know, in the hot air balloon. So now you saw that I went ahead and I cut out my image using my Brother Scan and Cut with a 0.4 border. And I went ahead and I cut the same paper tray ink white cardstock using Jaded Blossom's Border 2s. So I used the cloud one, and I'm just going to use score tape. That's 1/4 inch score tape, and I'm just going to apply it to each edge of my card, the top and the bottom. And then I'm going to add the little cloudy border. And, you know, quick stuff. I'm just using my Teflon bone folder, and then I will peel off the release paper, and then I'm going to add in my clouds. Now I'm going to let them hang off the end a little bit. I just want to add them where I like them, and then I will just trim off the extra. There we go. And I'm going to add the clouds on the top of this one. And this is a super, like I said, super simple card, but cute. So now I'm pulling in my We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper, and I'm going to chomp the upper right and the lower left corner of this card just to give it a little something something. There we go. And now I'm going to stamp the sentiment on the front. It says Happy Anniversary, and that is also from Date Night, that same Jaded Blossom stamp set. And I'm just going to stamp that right on that lower cloud there. There we go. Just wanted to get a nice, clean, sharp image. So I'm not pressing very hard. You're almost better off with sentiments to ink them up and just gently press them so you don't squash the letters. Now on the inside, I'm going to stamp the sentiment, "Thank you for making my life better," which I just thought is perfect for this. There we go. So now I cut a little mask using low-tack tape, and I'm just going to ink blend behind them because I didn't want that white area to show up so much. So that's what I did. I ink blended on them, and I'm just going to quickly peel off their little faces there. There we go. And how cute is that? So now my plan is I'm going to pull out an action wobble from our Art Impressions, those little mini ones. And I'm going to add that to the front of the card. So this little hot air balloon looks like it's wobbling around, which is kind of fun. There we go. And I'm going to put it where I want it. Then you want to balance the item that's going to be jiggling. So I found a spot where it's balanced. And then I will stick that down, and I'll check to make sure it's in the right spot, that it's nice and balanced, and then I'll stick it in place. There we go. How cute is that? You gotta love that. So now I'm pulling out Jaded Blossom's Cloud Stencil, and I'm going to use that same merman ink, but I'm just using whatever's left on my brush. And I'm just going to add some clouds to the bottom of the inside just for some interest, you know, just to make it look kind of cute that we're up in the sky. There we go. Gotta love these cloud stencils from Jaded Blossom. Actually, Jaded Blossom stencils rock. Like I use them a lot. There we go. So that's kind of pretty. Now I've decided I'm going to use some shape sprinkles. These are Doodlebug's shape sprinkles in the tiny hearts, they're called. And I'm just going to add a few in corresponding colors over each area. So I'm going to sprinkle them around using my pen blade there, just so I have my fingers out of the way and I can stick them down. I do have a little black ink smush, and it's right under the 30 on the purple area, like right underneath, and I'm covering it up right now. That's what's so great about embellishments. You can use them to cover up your little boo-boos. There we go. And I'm just going to add a white one to the purple because there wasn't a matching purple, but all the other colors had a color, so worked out. There we go. I'm just going to add a bunch of these little hearts because I thought, you know, it'll add a cute background, which is nice. There we go. Now I like the look of it, but I think it needs something still. So I've decided to cut out the number 30 again in white, that same white paper tray ink cardstock. That's from the Alphabet Dies 2 from Jaded Blossom. And then I'm going to stick that number 30 down onto my hot air balloon. There, I'm using my reverse tweezers. I've got my art glitter glue, just because it has a little fine tip on it. That's from Jaded Blossom. That's from Amazon. That's a little cheapie that I just transferred the glue into. There we go. And I'm just going to stick the number 30 on the balloon. There we go. And then I will have basically the card done, but I'm going to add a little glitter because, you know, I can't help myself. I've got to add something else. Why not, right? This is supposed to be a special card for the hubby on our 30th wedding anniversary. There we go. And that's that. Like, I love the look of it. It's looking really cute, but I'm going to need to add a little glitter. So what I'm using is Nuvo glitter drops in White Blizzard. And I'm going to add them. I'm just going to sprinkle them around. And, you know, keep in mind that these will pull the color from underneath them into them. I found that with some of the Nuvo crystal drops, or the Nuvo glitter drops. Sometimes it can pull the color into them. And I didn't mind that because it's clear and I figured it would match the background. And it certainly did pull the color a little bit, but I think it looks wonderful. So these dry clear and with a little hint of the color behind them. And then here it is. Here's what it turned out to look like. Isn't that cute? So thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to hop on over to the Jaded Blossom blog and store and maybe get your hot little hands on some of these products. I love Jaded Blossom. You just can't go wrong. So thanks everyone, and we'll see you soon in my next video. Bye.